That only lasts like a day.
Ready? 3, 2.
Studio A representing. What's up? Oh, before I start, introducing people, I just wanted to do something. This is my Rutgers capoeira shirt. I've been wearing it all day. I got jam themes on it. I didn't even eat jam today, but I just wanted to represent. This is my capoeira group, and I was rocking the shirt all day. Anyway, onto other things. Okay, so this is Michael Laurichia. He is a comic book graphic artist, and he will be doing a very interesting segment today, and I'll actually just leave it to him to explain it.
Okay, thank you TV30 and Nadia. I'm very happy to be here tonight. We're going to do something a little bit different. What we've got going on here is basically we're going to show some of a comic that I put together, but tonight we're going to have some voice actors. We got Mark Ian and Samantha in the house who are going to lend their voice talents to the comic, and I'm going to be playing a little backup guitar to set the mood. And this is a pretty new thing for me. TV30, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this. We've never done it before, so this will be interesting to see what happens. And then afterwards, I'll talk a little bit about what I do and talk a little bit about comics. So I guess we will begin. Set us up.
Captain, here's the prisoner. When you are taken to a Saludian base, you'll find a lot of water. Saludians cleanse their souls daily for fear of succumbing to madness. Evander, I missed you. The captains cleanse more frequently. They're more talkative, introspective, and maliciously creative. Do you want me to order your death, Evander? Herr, Saludians worship it, which is why they have a special hatred for humans. Only some Saludians can grow it, and it only grows once. Is that why you continue this game? Where is she? Where is my wife? Proud Evander. Look at you. We have broken you. Is this the same defiant human youngling we captured years ago? What is keeping you alive? The war? Your anger? Betty? She is not here. I believe it is time to send you on your way to her. Look, Captain, if you just calm yourself, Evander. I'm letting you go. You will be reunited. Yes, yes, where? Ha! You know me better than that. She may still be alive. I cannot imagine how she looks. It has been some time since we left her. Her hair. You should thank me for sending you to her. Saludians shave the hair off their captives to diffuse the anger and envy of their soldiers. Oh God, thank you. Good. When you see your love again, tell her the captain says, thank you. Thank you for what? Take him away. For what? Tell me! I'll kill you! I'll rip your heart out! Ha! I'll miss you, Evander. My road to freedom was bittersweet. The captain had a way with twisting his captives. They didn't even blindfold me. I knew they would drop me off, but for some reason they wanted to keep me alive. How long do you think he lasts? I give him 2 days. I truly believed that Betty was alive, but for all of the hope I had, I was beaten, burned, and worn down. I wouldn't be able to last more than a day or 2 in this state. Eat some sand, chump. My new prison. All I felt was emptiness. Betty. She would have followed the stars, but who knows how long she's been out here. She could have been in worse shape than I am when they dropped her off. How do I know she was even alive when they brought her? Or if they even brought her here? What? Oh no. No. her clothes, and rations. Why would they give her rations? And why are they still here? They gave her a chance. The captain said to thank her, but what could have she done for him? Do I want to know? Without rations, she wouldn't have gotten far. How she must have suffered. Oh, Betty, I'm sorry I couldn't save you. How did it come to this? Betty, forgive me. I might as well lay here till the end. Footprints. 3 toes? And some sort of animal. The footprints were protected by this rock. They lead straight towards that crag. This shall be my final destination. With Betty's rations, I walked in the only direction that made sense. I walked for hours and then collapsed. I suddenly realized how emaciated I had become. It reminded me of my father's stories about the First Galaxy War. His platoon was stranded in the jungles of Kua. The chilly warp aliens had fled, leaving the humans waiting to be rescued. They starved for weeks after finding the native plants were poisonous. He said one of his comrades couldn't stand the hunger, so he cut off pieces of his own arm to eat. Will I be driven to that madness? An alien. 3 toes. Some kind of scout, maybe. I have to act now. Hey! Help! I need help! Shh! Here it comes. Human. Help! What are you called? Evander. I'm looking for one called Betty. You must come with me now. Have you seen her? Do you know where she is? We don't have much time. Will you take me? Blast it. That cool breeze, the rain. Oh, Betty, you're so beautiful. What were you scared of? It can't rain forever. I will return, Evander. Please don't leave me. They might as well kill me. This is a good enough place to die, cool and quiet.
But if you die, who will be by my side?
Oh, thank God. I lost hope, Betty. I didn't...
It is over, my love. We are no longer apart.
You're here.
I have been waiting for a long time.
I'm so tired.
No! The time for waiting is over! Tomorrow our revolution begins!
Oh, Betty, what has happened to you?
Okay. That's it.
Wow, that was pretty awesome. That was really good.
Great job, guys.
I mean, I could see it from the outside, actually. You know, I went outside and just looked, all the frames fit, the music. And did you actually compose the music? So there's, I'm not trying to, like...
I'll use the term... Oh, I got the thing now?
Oh, you do?
It works?
Okay,
so you can hear me now?
this.
Okay. I would probably use the term compose loosely.
Okay.
But I definitely came up with kind of phrasing and stuff that would go along with different scenes because we didn't have a huge rehearsal for it, so I wanted to make it so that when we got to certain points, I knew that I wanted certain kinds of moods to be put together. And the tempo is a big deal too, to kind of, you know, move it along and make you feel like almost like there's a heartbeat going on, or there's some kind of rhythm that's happening that gives a sense of the emotion of the scene. And of course, this is the first time we're doing it, so hopefully it came out okay. And
Have you ever done this before? Like,
no, this is the first time I ever worked with actors at all, let alone voice actors, and so I was very eager to be a part of it and see what it's like.
It turned out really well. Are you going to get a tape of this? I mean, you know, I think
I
this
hope so.
would be very useful in your arsenal of, as an artist.
Yeah, no, I'm eager to see how it came out. It's definitely a lot of fun doing it in real time and working with people and you know, kind of taking cues from what the actors are doing and bouncing back and forth. So.
And I didn't mean to say these two guys, you know, this girl and guy, they did a great job. I really think we should give them a hand.
Yeah, let's give it a
They
round.
did a really great job.
All right.
Especially I was there to practice, and what was it? 10 minutes, it's a great job.
Yeah, we put it together. So.
Yeah,
So-
so, I've spoken to you before, and I looked at your website. You are a graphic artist. I mean, you do many things. You did children's books.
Mhm.
The script that you did now, it's is it a comic book? Is it a graphic novel?
Well,
What's the difference?
well, no. Difference between a graphic novel is, I see it as basically length. A graphic novel is a longer book. This particular story is part of a book I'm putting out of a series of the beginnings of stories. So I've got 8 pages of this, and I'm looking. I'm not really sure how long it's going to end up being. I don't do comics and art full time. That's kind of I moonlight as a comic book artist. So my time is a little bit limited.
What do you do full time? If you don't mind me asking.
Actually, I work for the Arts Council of Princeton. Put in a little plug.
Well, you're an artist then.
Yep.
You're still like, it's
Well,
not your dishwasher, and then at night you're
I'm a PR artist, a public relations artist, I guess, and I do their program. I'm a program manager there too. So, but I do get opportunities through the Arts Council to do illustration and design and stuff like that. But that's my full-time job, and at night I do comics and illustration and freelance work, and I try to self-publish whenever possible, and collaborate. I go to conferences. We were talking about MoCA, which is Museum of Comic and Cartoon Art in New York.
Amazing conference. That is one cool. If anybody can go there, it's not that expensive to get in.
No, it's like I don't know, maybe it's like 10 bucks a day or something.
Yes, it's like 40 bucks, something really small. It's really worth it.
But it's first weekend of June 6th and 7th, and if you like what you saw, come see me there. I'll be exhibiting there, and that's at the Armory building. It's from walking distance from Penn Station. So I'll do that in June, and then in September I do a small press expo in Maryland. And that's a great show too. If you're into independent underground comics, it's like you got to go there. Or if you're on the East Coast, so
what kind of story? I mean, this particular story. How many sort of storylines have you sort of come up with?
For this particular?
I mean, or in general. I mean, how many sort of stories? Or do you, there's too many
in life?
Well, I mean, it's as an artist who's doing this comic.
Well, I don't. I always have something kind of brewing on the side, but. This particular story, I was just thinking about, I just got sidetracked in terms of, I was thinking of the inspiration for this story, but in terms of just quantity of stories, I always have a couple, irons in the fire. In terms of actual stories that have been published that people can buy, I'd say I've got 2 full books that are out there. And then I've done a handful of anthologies that are like collaborative books.
With other artists.
Yeah, and that's the situation. Usually with an anthology is that you're invited into this book, and they print your story and everybody else's story. And so when somebody buys it, it's all these artists take on a theme, or sometimes there's no theme. But this story I hope to finish at some point. But I've got a lot of different stories that I've just started. So.
Yeah, it did leave on a bit of a cliffhanger. So.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing, is if I wasn't going to finish it, I was going to at least give it a last kick so people would want to know what happens later. This, if you want, I can talk about the inspiration for this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that the audience. I mean, I definitely think if people watch it, this is pretty awesome.
Sure. Hey, audience, you guys, what do you think?
I mean, not just audience here, but I mean, there's people watching, hopefully.
Yep.
And watching on the web, watching on
It's
TV.
true. I actually emailed 3 people that I think might be watching this right now. And my mother is one of those people. So.
Well, I went to my Facebook friends,
Okay.
They've been monitoring in and out things going on. But I think this is really cool. I mean, for public access that we're doing.
It's very cool.
This is pretty funky.
It's a little edgy. I think it's different because
revolutionary.
Sharon came up to me from TV30 and she said, I have this idea. And I was like, my first thought was, oh, this is going to be like Reading Rainbow. I don't know if you've seen a show where they show the children's book and LeVar is reading. And I thought we would record it earlier and it would just get played, not like live. And she's like, no, it's live. You got to do this live. And I'm like, well, I'm not comfortable acting. I've never acted. I've never done that before. So I said, but I can play guitar. Let me do that. And then she said, I'll get voice actors. And so I had no idea what was going to happen. But
Well, I mean, the guitar, it went really well. I mean, I think
Well,
also
thank you.
because you're the person who came up with the story.
Yeah, no,
You were able to, in your head, you sort of know where the tones go, and
Mhm.
you said the heartbeat of the story. I mean, you created the heartbeat of the story, so
Well, I've been living with this story for a little while. So
it's in your head, right?
Yeah,
Sort
yeah,
of
it's
driving you
been in my
nuts.
head. It's been driving me crazy.
So, but no, the concept behind it. So, how do you come up with it? Or
Well, in terms of
inspiration?
a lot of my stories, they come from personal experiences.
So this has happened. You dealt the
Yeah,
illness,
when I
lost
was
a lot.
imprisoned in Mars for a period of time. But this particular story, a lot of science fiction is basically metaphorical of something, you know. And in this case, it's about a relationship. It's about actually me and my wife, and when she got ill, she had gotten this illness, and my fears of her changing because of that. And so when you see this story, and you see that the husband has experienced the loss of his wife, and then when he sees her, because she has gone through this whole experience of being in the jail, you know, outside of him, they weren't together, she's changed, and this is like a very jarring experience for him. And so this kind of was the inspiration for the whole story. And my thinking of it, the ending of it was to somehow explore this idea of hopelessness, you know, the sense of like, you know, in this case, the damage of being imprisoned all this time by herself and coming out and feeling that her husband was dead and things like that has changed her so much that maybe she's lost to him. And because a lot of times with popular comics and movies and things like that, we have the perfect ending, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, and they lived happily ever after, and they resolve it all, everything gets better. But in reality, you know, that doesn't happen. You know, it's like you have to deal with these situations where maybe there isn't hope. And that sounds very depressing, but I think it's a way of looking at life and kind of reorienting yourself to be ready for those kind of situations. So that's kind of the thinking behind that story, if they can follow that. If I made any sense with that explanation.
I do not think it's so complex at all. I think
Then we lost a couple audience members here. in the
not at
back.
all. I mean, you know, the thing about great sci-fi or fantasy is not its outlandishness; it's its relatability.
Sure.
And the greatest sci-fi, you know, things like Star Wars or even X-Men. You know, this simple idea of not fitting in, or
Sure.
destiny, or the
Yeah.
Jesus Christ complex, or whatever you want to say. You know, it's this age-old tale, and that relatability, I think, is really what makes stories successful. And I think, you know, exactly with this story, there is that human element, even if it's in Mars or with aliens
right.
or whatever.
Well, also, I mean, I was telling my wife about the story, but she did not know that it was about her. And
I think that's really romantic.
yes. And I said to her, well, you know, at its heart, the story is kind of like a mystery. And the husband is trying to figure out the clues as to what has happened to his wife. And so, you know, it kind of gets very, but it's kind of getting some cues here.
I'm just trying to.
There's I will address this this question that came up from the audience. There's about 200 people sitting, you know, behind the camera here, which the viewers at home can't see. But what was I was just talking about I totally got off track with that.
No, you were just talking about you were talking about the. You know,
Oh yeah, she didn't know, and it was, you know, basically this mystery of, you know, going from clue to clue, right? And he's trying to figure this out. I wanted to draw it out longer, but I ended up kind of consolidating it. But to the question out here, is there hope? I think the answer is yes, because the husband, the only reason he survived so long is because he had hope that he would find the wife. But it's not so much. I guess the question is different. It's like, will I find my wife, or will my wife be the same, is kind of the question I'm looking at. Because when he reaches his goal, which is finding his wife, he realizes, wait a minute, it's not her anymore. She's changed due to this experience. And that in this part of the story, he's completely, you know, at the end, he's like, Betty, what happened? You know, it's completely changed his outlook on what he was expecting, I think. So it's just kind of, I thought in many ways it was a real story, in the sense that it's not like, oh, I found my wife, finally, we're reunited. You know, their reunion was less than perfect, and now he's got to deal with the damage that's been done to her and to him, and see if there is a way to get to some sense of happiness and peace. I mean, it's kind of like apartheid, you know, this kind of like alternate way of dealing with struggle and suffering, you know. And in Africa, they forgave all these people that did these terrible things, you know, and that's a very uncommon non-Western way of thinking. So when I do these stories, I try to think of those kinds of situations as inspiration, something different, a different type of story we're not used to seeing. And I hope that gets across when people read the stuff. But
Yeah, definitely, but it brings up the human element. And actually, another thing, I mean, we have these great, actor and actress here, and they sort of just jumped in and did the voice acting. So I wanted to ask you guys, how do you feel about? And how many do you do this? Do you do voiceovers? Do you act? I'll go to you. What is your names? Please say your names.
I'm Markian.
Markian?
Samantha.
And Samantha. So Samantha, do you do voice acting already?
No, I haven't acted since actually last year when I had to do an 8th grade musical, and that was kind of the last time I acted. And I'm not much of an actress, but I stop by every once in a while at the TV station. I've interned here before, and so I'm just willing to help out however I can.
They just picked you as, could you just do this, please?
Yeah, they just kind of handed it to me, and they said, can you read this? And I said, sure.
she's awesome. She came in just right when she went to the door, like, can you do it?
Exactly. I was just, what's going on? I mean, I'm half hallucinating, so I know who you were, and I probably didn't care, no offense. I was seeing things and hearing things, and I felt like I was in fear.
But now you care. I mean, it's all now.
I obviously care. I felt like I was in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Things were just like windy and stuff. And you, same thing, right? Just sort of. I mean, do you do any kind of? You played a couple characters. You're very dramatic.
Yeah, well, I'm an actor and have been for the past 6 years. I've done over a dozen plays and things of that nature.
So you're a seasoned veteran, basically.
You
At 16.
could say that.
Impressive.
You could say that. I was just asked would I be willing to do some voice acting, and I said, what the heck, might as well. I've got nothing to lose. So I just jumped into it.
So I mean, this is a sort of cool concept. I think it's almost like conceptual art in a way, isn't it? And I mean, you guys are a part of. How did you feel about it? How do you feel like it came out? I mean, I wish you could have seen it from the outside. It looked really cool. I mean, your voices sounded perfect and very dramatic, and because this is the behind the scenes. You're seeing them with the guitar. You're seeing him with the guitar. We're seeing you guys talking. You're cute youngins, and but then you see. I'm sorry if I offended you. I'm 24. I'm mad old.
She's actually 82. You can't tell.
I know.
Take lots of vitamins.
I do. I don't like carrots. But outside it looked really awesome. So what do you guys think about this? Is this sort of? I'm sure you guys have never done anything like this.
No, I've never done anything like this. It's my first time I've ever done voice acting as such for a cartoon. I thought the idea of the cartoon was really cool. Like Michael said, it's not your typical, there's my wife. What's up? I haven't seen you in ages, man. No, something's wrong. Their reunion is soured. Something that used to be there is just not there anymore, and he's still pretty confused. He doesn't know what happened exactly, so.
I thought it went really well, though. It was really interesting, and it was a little strange just coming in and being like, okay, sure, let's do it. But, I mean, it's fun to do things like this. I mean, it was a really interesting story, too, an interesting idea for a story. I mean, I wouldn't have known that there was that whole story behind it either, which makes it even more interesting to know that behind
It
it.
definitely makes it a lot cooler to know that.
That's cool.
To know the personal
As long as the
story.
coolness factor elevates.
One other thing is, your artistry is just, and I said this before to you, I'm repeating it, because I'm not very original, is that, it's really great. Your shading, your use of color. Because I know some artists just do sketching, and some artists just do outlining. But you seem to you're sort of like the Renaissance man, you do it all.
Well, I think in this day and age, especially the digital age, you have more access to the tools to do the full production. And because everything's based on the computer now, you can do coloring, it's all wired into that system. And printing is a lot easier than it used to be. So you can do a lot of, they've got these print-on-demand services, which produces professional product. And so you have access to this now, which wasn't the case maybe 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. So it's very exciting, and there's no excuse for an artist to not do all that stuff if they're comfortable with it, except for money. That's money and time, I guess, is always the issue. But I mean, I enjoy doing all that stuff, and again, money and time for me is the only thing that keeps me from doing more. And we also have the opportunity of websites now, so you can get your work out. I mean, there was an artist right before me that has a website who does comics too.
Yeah, web comics and it's like a
Yeah,
new
so
genre.
it's really an exciting time, especially for graphic novels and things like that. So I'm just happy to be a part of it. I went to school for printmaking.
Okay.
So
What school did you go to around here?
no, I went to, for my undergrad, I went to UMass Amherst in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And for my graduate degree, I went to Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville.
Oh.
And they were both excellent experiences. I learned a lot, but they were, very anti-comics, right? So I did fine art.
They seem sort of anti-civilization, no offense.
Yeah. But, when I left school and I came here, I didn't have any access to printing presses. And so it was like either I do printmaking, if I seek out printmaking or I don't do artwork. So I went back into comics, which I've been doing in high school a lot. And there I am now. So.
And we also sort of discussed how we're both. I mean, listen, to be a comic book artist, to do any this graphic art, you need to be a major comic book nerd. You have to. I mean, just it's a love, and I do not have drawing skills. I mean, at least I do art other things, but not comics. I'm a huge comic book nerd. So we discussed that also, how we have that in common. So what art? Maybe. I mean, if you named artists, I'm sure most people might not recognize it, but what comics really, maybe as a boy, inspired you to do this kind of stuff?
Well, I say first, believe it or not, I am a nerd. You might not think that from what you're seeing, but I definitely belong to that category. I guess
was just judging.
Yeah, that's okay. Judging's okay. I can just drop some names. People who read comics will know who those people are. A big influence on me was Simon Bisley, who's kind of a very dark artist.
Can you name any books? Some people might recognize.
Simon Bisley did a lot of the Lobo books for DC, which was an extremely ultra-violent comic.
Werewolf thing, right?
Yeah, he's like, look him up, Lobo.
Wikipedia.
He does, and they would always bring this artist in to like make characters look darker. Like if they wanted to twist a character a little bit, so they'd bring him in. He did like Melting Pot and a lot of heavy metal comics. He's like the big heavy metal guy.
Right.
I looked at artists like Sam Keith, Arthur Adams. These are all, just mainstream artists. But like some of them had a very different style. So I looked at style and how some artists would take a traditional character and like twist them a little bit with their style. So someone like Sam Keith would take a superhero and give him a gut, or make them really hairy, which was very, in the comics, in the commercial comics, everybody has to be sexy, and for an artist to take those characters and make them add some humanity to them, I was really drawn to that. So I looked at artists like that. I mean, I did like all the, like Jim Lee, those people.
No, did you like any, were you a big Spider-Man fan growing up, or X-Men?
Yeah, I mean, I had a healthy...
Everybody sort of has their one
I was a big Wolverine fan, but I had a very healthy diet of all the X books, the Hulk, Spider-Man. I mean, I was into all of it. I mean, all the...
Marvel or DC?
Marvel. And Marvel. Image when that came out, because I was, very centered on artists. And so when all those Marvel artists went to do Image, I was like all about that. And then as I got older, I started being a little more, kind of picky about what I was looking. Now I don't even buy comics anymore because they're so expensive.
You make them, so.
Yeah, I make them. So, but there are artists I look at today. There's in the mainstream, but also in the independent world, because it's so easy to connect with independent artists now because of the web stuff. You just contact somebody and they'll talk to you about what they're doing.
It definitely gives, I think, a sense of freedom and also direct contact between the artist and the reader, which I don't think has really been there before. And it's really cool, someone like you who's young and up and coming is able to really express yourself and put it on something like public access television.
Well, I could say one of my favorite artists today is Paul Pope. I don't know if you know who he is, but Paul Pope is I'm a big fan of him. Alex Robinson. These are all underground guys.
Okay.
And so it's just a really good time to be involved in this stuff.
And you have a website?
I do have a website. It's michaellaurichia.com, Lariccia.
They might put it up. They usually put a little caption thing.
It's right down there. So check that out. Be a fan of my Facebook page. I love that. That's like, it really makes my day for one new fan to get on there.
If people wanted to buy your comics, like what could they
Well,
buy
you can buy 2 of them off of my website. Those are still in circulation. But if you contact me and you want to buy original artwork, it's totally informal, and we can come up with a good price, make sure I take care of you.
How about the Benjamins?
You know, I'm all about getting it exposure anyways. And even my first book that I got a grant to publish my first book.
wow.
It's the Xeric grant.
Pretty cool.
And I sell that for really cheap because I'm just trying to get it out there. And I have like 3,000 copies in my apartment, so it's like when you're an independent artist.
Yeah, I just want to send them my way, you know.
You know, when you're an independent artist, it's hard to do the business end, and you focus on the creative, but you have to be you need as much time on the business end as the creative. So I have a lot of inventory, is what I'm saying. So
it's true. Well, basically, if someone emails you, you're willing to sell that inventory.
Oh yeah.
So okay, awesome.
Lots of
So
inventory.
and you know, if anybody likes what they've seen, go on the website.
Yeah, and you can
definitely.
contact me through the website if you got questions. Also, if you're an artist yourself and you want feedback, I'm a teacher too, so it's I always get emails from people saying I want to apply for the Xeric grant. Can you look at my work? Can you look at my stuff? What do you think? And I'm totally into that. So.
And also just mention again where you're going to be next. You know, we said Mocha, and people can maybe come and just meet with you, say what's up.
You can always come by the Arts Council of Princeton, 102 Witherspoon Street. I'm there about 90 hours a week. I have a full-time office there. You can always come by and say hi. I'll give you a tour of the building. And you can check me out on Facebook and check out my website and Comic Space. I'm all over that stuff. And just reach out, and I will definitely love to talk to you. But
and Mocha is when?
Mocha,
are you going to be actually sitting with the?
I'll be exhibiting,
okay.
So I'll have a table there, and it's June 6th and 7th, and SPX Small Press Expo in Maryland is like the last weekend of September, and that's like awesome. So if you've never been to it and you're kind of into it, go down to Bethesda. It's totally worth it. It's the coolest.
And I never went to Maryland, but I will say Mocha is awesome. Totally worth going to for him and for a lot of up and coming artists. A lot of exposure to great art, great concepts. I mean, it's literally like going to an art museum for comic books and graphics. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Thank you so much, Michael.
Well, thank you. I had a blast. Yeah, this was and thank you to the actors.
The two actors. One had to go. He's a very busy guy.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot. I'll give a hand clap for everybody.
All right. All right.
All right. I have no idea what's going on next, but I'm sure it's pretty